Ready to start our vintage podcast. So we're going to do that now. Thank you for viewing, whoever was viewing. And we are getting ready to record. We'll give people a little bit more time to get in here. And then we'll start. Hello, one viewer. Hello. I'll be right back. I got to get my seltzer water. And then we're going to start recording the third episode of the podcast. Okay. Grab my headphones. Okay, welcome. Here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caleb Lawrence, and you are tuned in to the third episode of the Prowlare Vintage podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the first episode of Closet Raiders that premiered yesterday. We're also going to talk about some more of my favorite rarities. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to do next week. Drinking some strawberry Perrier. Tastes just like freeze-dried strawberries in a bowl of cereal, except instead of milk, it's seltzer water. So yesterday was Friday, the 24th, and it was the first day that I hosted an episode of the Prowlare Closet Raiders show, which every Friday now at 3 p.m. we're going to go live with somebody, and they're going to join the live stream on the Prowlare Instagram page, and we're going to check out their closet. We're going to have them show us all their t-shirts, everything they've got hanging up in their closet, and tell us how they got it, what's so special about it, why they've kept it around. And so next week, I'm not sure who I'm going to have on the show next. It is only Saturday, so tomorrow's my day of rest. Working today, I'm doing this podcast and the vlog today and doing it for tomorrow so that I have a day off. Yesterday, let me tell you a little bit about how yesterday's went. So I had a guy on the show named Josh Warden. Josh is my best friend of 6 years. I met him when he was a freshman at OSU. He grew up in Corvallis. He went to Corvallis High School. I met him at a small group when we were in the same church together. And he's been such a cool friend over time. He's seen some of the worst parts of my life. He's been there for the ups and the downs. He's been a pretty stable, super stable part of my life. I know that a lot of people don't have like somebody like this in their life, or even a lot of people like this in your life. But Jay is a very talented sports broadcaster. He's known that he's going to want to do this since I've known him, since he was a freshman, and he's graduated now. And he interviews former Beaver athletes, Oregon State Beaver athletes. He interviews them for his Beaver Tales podcast, which he also started on Podbean, which is where this show is featured. So he's been pumping out a lot of projects, and we've been away from each other. I mean, we've all been away from each other for a while, so this was a good opportunity. The isolation was a great opportunity for me to spend some time working on projects that I wanted to, and really putting myself in a position where I can execute my business plan for a passion once this is all over. And Jay has also been taking advantage of that and filming and recording some documentary, some audio documentary about the Beavers. So I'm very excited for him. But we had him on the show yesterday, and we started out the show. I kind of taught him how to join the live video, and he joined. And I really wanted to give him a lot of the play at first. I wanted him to talk and start to set the tone, because me as the operating manager for Prowlare and the founder of Opal Heights, of course, I have my own opinion about how I think the show should go and what we should talk about. But I wanted to suspend all of that and let my first guest, let kind of every guest really manifest this passion on their own, this passion for rare teas and their collection of stuff. I really want them to set the tone of every episode, because when you're in a secondhand business like this, people's stories of where the clothes come from and then where they're going, those are two polar stories that have nothing to do with me. All I want to do is curate, collect, and tell my own story in providing options for other people. So I let Jay really kick it off because I knew that he probably didn't understand where all of this is heading and how much opportunity there is inside of the show and inside of what I'm already passionate about. So I wanted to kind of hear what he thought and see how slow he moved, or if he was shy or anything like that. Kind of let it all happen. He started out with the collectibles. Now, in the future, we're going to start to save these episodes. But last night, when I recorded the episode, screen went black. My phone, because the battery not died, but it was starting to die, and I couldn't see where the save for later part is, which is unfortunate, but it also gives me great content for today, where I can give you a play-by-play about how it went. It was about a 30-minute, not even a 30-minute, about 23-minute long episode. I knew whereabouts I wanted us to get to and what part of the show that I would actually enjoy the most. So I wanted the show to start to create itself using guests and giving them the opportunity to set the tone, introduce themselves, start somewhere and take us to their bedroom. But I wanted there to be additional content, and I was able to start to discover a lot of that as I was going with Jay. Let's see, Jay started off on his collectibles. He had a Craig Robinson side basketball that he got for returning all of his library books that year. He had bobbleheads. He had his media passes from the sports casting that he's done at different games. He's done a bunch. He did the Le Schwab Invitational, the basketball invitational. He'd done it like 2 years. So he had a couple polos. Dude is decked out in polos. Has a bunch of the collared shirts in his closet, and he had 2 different color Le Schwab ones. It said Le Schwab Invitational on it, and he had a blue one and he had a yellow one. I know that there's somebody watching, so say hi in the comments. If you have any questions, you got anything you want to say, go ahead and shout it out. I gotta take a sip. How's the audio? Is my audio good? It's all going on the Podbean anyway. Well, okay, let's keep going with the how the rest of the episode went. So I was getting kind of impatient. I was like, Jay, let's see the closet, bro. And he came over, and like I said, it was like one polo, one collar tee after the other. He had some cool baseball jerseys from Japan, college shirts. And then he told me that he didn't have anything else. I was asking him about like cotton pullovers. He wasn't really stoked about it, as if he like really had anything. And then he started to pull them out, and he had like Corvallis High School tee. From Oregon State University, he had 3 intramural championship tees, which I've never really seen him wear that much. But those are super legit. He got one of them for, let's see, like doing some kind of Pro Bowl prediction or some kind of prediction for, maybe you can comment, Jay, and fill us in, but you got one for sitting at your laptop, you said. And then you had like 3 or 4 different Varsity House t-shirts, and Varsity House is a house in Corvallis where all the Christian guys live in their own co-op together. It's like 40 guys live in one house together, and they have these Varsity House tees. And I remember I used to hang out with the guys all the time. This was a few years ago when I lived back in Corvallis. Used to hang out with them all the time. Not even a few years ago. It was like 5 years ago. And I remember trying to get one from them and them telling me no. Like, it was only for the guys in the house. And I was like, dude, fuck that, man. I was kind of hurt. I forgot about it for a while. But then Jay is going to be, so toward the end of the episode, the way that we're going to do it is at the end of the episode, after the host, Caleb, has seen everything, he picks from those and picks something that he wants to either buy, that Jay or the guest would either sell or give me. And the one on this episode was Varsity House one for sure. That one has a deep meaning for me because the guys like told me no. And I had spent so much time with those guys and at that house and helping to raise a lot of those young men. So it was kind of hurtful that they didn't really see me as this sounds like super sad. I hope it's not actually how it went. Let me see if I can get a guest on the show. We're at about 10:55. No, it's just going to be us. So, I mean, this is kind of how it goes. I'm documenting the process. I just got home from the grocery store. I've got some stuff that I want to do. This podcast was one of them. The vlog. I want to do a podcast for tomorrow, and I want to do a couple vlogs. Today's item that I'm going to probably review is I have a black Oregon State shirt, and then I have a red ski suit from a company called White Stag, which was originated in Portland, and now they're bought by Walmart, and they do women accessories. But the White Stag brand were so popular here in Portland that when they built a sign, "Welcome to Portland," they put the logo for the White Stag on the sign. It's a big jumping deer, which was super interesting. And I found that out. Kind of a sad end to that story. I mean, Walmart's not really that exciting at all. But it's a dope, long ski suit. So I'm going to review those two today. It's been hard to get any gear because everybody is in their house. A lot of the gear I want, though, are in people's houses. It's just there's no way to go and like convince people to like. I mean, there is a way. So I'm planning on moving down to Corvallis, back down to Corvallis here in the next month. So when I kind of have to move out of the place that I'm living right now. And when I get down there, I'm going to have a couple different strategies to get clothes while if there's nothing open yet. One, I was going to rob the Goodwill. No, I've got a lot of people there whose closets that I'm trying to get from. So I'm just going to reach out to everybody one by one who lives there and see if they can like throw everything that they're willing to get rid of into like a bag and then throw it outside their house, and I can come by and pick it up and then take it back and sort it, get rid of it, or keep what I want. So I got to do that soon. I'm going to move down there and get my collection going and see, where life takes me from there. Pretty stoked. It's been hard living up here in Portland. I got to get really candid for a minute. I mean, I think that's going to be really good for the podcast and for you guys to understand who I am. But I moved up here to start a church 4 years ago. I moved up here before the rest of the people from my church, even people whose idea it was to do it. It was God's idea, and surely that definitely took stride, because everything that I tried to be like, oh, this is something that I built or I can take pride in, God always humbled me and reminded me that I have so many more ways to grow on my own, that I really have no place like trying to take pride in something that it was just silly. I grew up very hardcore in the last 4 years. There's a lot of people, even in my own church family, who I resent still, up here in Portland. Man, I've tried to humble myself and like really put myself in a position for other people to like engage with me again, where they were like afraid and living with fear in their own heart. And there's one girl in particular that I would love to shout out and love to hurt your feelings, because you really hurt my feelings. But c'est la vie. So I don't really hold a grudge. Like, I'm not holding a grudge. It's just the humanity of me. I'm hurt and prideful and just having a hard time. Well, my church family and the community, it really just felt like I was fighting so hard just to stay involved. Like, I wanted to go to every event. I wanted to be at everything and be the first one there, last one to leave. And like, I thought that it was going to rub off on the leadership or like other people. And they'd be like, yeah, Caleb is a leader, and like trying to convince them. And God being so gracious and so faithful, like he didn't make me to be weak or to make me like try to impress other people. He made me to be me and be strong. So even if I myself cannot catch up to where he would expect me to be, it doesn't mean that he stops trying to get me there. So he has been so faithful, and he taught me how to like not give a shit that like I can't live up to some like self-imposed standard. So all to say, like, I don't really mind leaving now. Like, it's been 4 years. We bought our first building. Like, I might not get like the credit I think I deserve. So that's pretty much a sign for me. I was like, dude, I'm out, bro. Like, not even like about the credit stuff. It's just like the leadership has, I think, really enabled other people to be full of fear. And if you're from Gray City, Portland, and like you're hearing this, you're like, oh my God, like, where did this come from? Just know, like, if you weren't like a part of my life, like, this shouldn't really be a surprise. I would just keep going on with your life like you were, and just like, not really try to just find somebody else to entertain you. So going back to Corvallis, there is a church community there that I first like plugged in with, and I know that they're not perfect. I'm not expecting as much. Never again will I ever expect so much from a human being as I've expected from people in my life, and that's good. It's good. I'm only going to expect it from God, and I expect it from myself. So I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know how I'm going to make any money, but even now, like, I'm broke, and like everything that I get, like, I'm making it happen in the meantime. Don't have unemployment, don't have food stamps right now, really pulling it all together. And so I don't have a job here in Portland that I'm going to go to. I'm not going to go back to it. I mean, I would love to go back to the airport. I loved it, but they fired me. They laid me off for this pandemic. So I got to wait for them to open back up and be ready to hire me. And like, honestly, bro, I'm 28. Like, I'm not ready to play it safe just yet. I got a couple more goes in me. I won't even say a couple more goes. I got goes in me. this is the next thing, man. I love being around the college town. Like I love being around the college sports. Like I love rare gear and like um the fact that there's a program that I can center it around is super helpful for me. Like it's not like I'm gonna be trying to collect like wrestling tees from the mid 90s that like maybe only certain people like. I'm doing it for the whole program, and really, I don't know if I'll come back to Portland. I don't know if I'll go to Wyoming. I don't know where I'll go next. Like I don't, and that's the way I think it should be. I think God is really excited about me just being like a river. Like where are we going next? So we're wrapping up here about 20 minutes. We're getting in on 20 minutes, and that's how I want to keep it for now. Kind of running out of things to talk about. There is somebody watching, one person across the whole globe for now. So say hi, come back. We're going to do this more often now. We'll be recording the podcast live on YouTube, on the Prowlare YouTube. So thanks for tuning in. I just paused the podcast at 20 minutes, and I'm just going to say goodbye to you guys separately. Thanks for tuning in. This is Caleb Lawrence, and I'll be back tomorrow. Love you. Bye.